That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the 100 Days series is back. And in this video, I will play 100 Days of Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. Will I reach the World Bazaar rank? Can I get all my tools upgraded to 𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐵? Or will I go insane from the lack of storage? You'll have to watch the entire video to find out. So, without further ado, let's get my character created and get to Zephyr Town. Day 1 of my journey in this new town begins as I walk into the Bazaar Square and am greeted by Mayor Felix. I explored my new surroundings while waiting for the weekly bazaar to start, then Felix directed me to what will become the location where I exploit the locals for profit. Completing the tutorial bazaar was over in a flash, and Felix explained to me how important it was that the bazaar become world-renowned. After that, I was securely escorted to my new home by the brolic mayor, a warm and cozy farmhouse complete with a comfy bed that I slide right into to end my first day. Picking up on day 2, I utilized the infinite stamina afforded to me in the crop planting tutorial to get all my seeds watered, and then checked out the trending items for this first spring season. Having ores be trending is honestly pretty solid. Now that I actually have control of my character, I can spend the day doing what I want, starting by catching a 7-spotted ladybug. After checking out the sign leading to my farm, I found a golden medal some athlete must have thrown away. And hey, that last sign got me a golden medal, and wouldn't you know it, this sign also had a golden medal behind it. Over at the local hotel, I introduced myself to the first marriage candidate, cleaning lady Maple, and then ran over to Miguel's general store to purchase a couple of seeds. After snooping through some townspeople's bookcases, I found the ice cream recipe before dropping off some stuff at my bazaar stall. While jumping around town, I soft-locked myself in between these flower beds. I eventually got out, went back home to plant and water those crops, and then spent the evening testing if jumping while running was faster than just running. Spoiler alert, it is. I woke up on day 3 to a fervent knocking on my door. It's Bachelorette number 2, Sophie, and she comes bearing gifts in the form of a sickle. Felix gifted me some potatoes in the mail, so I spent the morning getting those sowed in the field before utilizing my brand new sickle to farm a whole bunch of weeds. After all that work, I took my first shower to regain some stamina and completed Sophie's weed request. Over at the cafe, I was introduced to our first bachelor, local busboy Derek. It would seem part of his job is also to keep the local brat Kevin out of too much trouble. Bachelor number 2 is Derek's brother, Jules, who enjoys a good book after a long day of teaching the local children. That afternoon, I jumped off a 3-story building to find out if there was fall damage or not, did some snooping in bookshelves to discover the omelet rice recipe, and met yet another marriage candidate at the cafe, Freya. Back at the farm, I spent the evening tilling, sowing, and watering all of those radish seeds Sophie gave me earlier, before ending the day by doing my best Santa Claus impression and entering Miguel's home from his chimney. Yet another townsperson is at my door to start day 4. This time it's the local merchant Lloyd, another potential love interest. In addition to another bachelor in town, I also was donated a hatchet. After getting all my crops watered, I spent the morning utilizing my new tool by cracking open some copper ores by the yellow windmill so that I could complete Lloyd's request he gave me this morning. While snooping around his house, I found the focaccia bread recipe before running to the town square where Sophie was accosted by the town rugrats. Fun fact, you can dig up these little dirt mounds with a hoe, not a hatchet as I embarrassingly attempted to do, and I ended the day by giving my crops a second watering to make sure they grow faster. I woke up on day 5 to quite the disturbance taking place outside my front door. Felix was able to wrangle a wild chicken and gifted it to me as my first farm animal. My Twitch and YouTube live chat selected the name for this little guy, and they decided on Chickpea. In addition to acquiring a feathered friend, Felix also supplied me with a brush, milkers, and clippers for all my future animal produce needs. My first round of blue flowers have bloomed, so I got those side down before running over to Miguel's to purchase some fodder seeds for the pasture, along with some replacement bluebell seeds. While running around town, I was introduced to another bachelor in Zephyr Town, Picasso wannabe Gabriel. His comments about the beauty of the town are pretty spot on, though. Over at the Bazaar Square, I found a golden medal behind this bronze statue of the mayor, and then I spent the afternoon planting those aforementioned fodder seeds in the pasture and getting all my seeds moist before running around town that evening and learning that you cannot swim in this game. I ended the day by utilizing my bazaar stall as some extra storage space and throwing all my forageables and critters in there. Day 6 begins with yet another townsperson on my front porch. This time, it's Isaac, the windmill mechanic, with a request for items to repair the red windmill on my farm. I got some sushi in my mailbox and learned the recipe by consuming the delicious fish dish, then went out to the fields to harvest some ripe turnips, daikon, and radishes. After running around town, I introduced myself to June, another of the town's many bachelorettes. I completed Isaac's admittingly easier quest, and my new pal repaired the red windmill. Now I can utilize the building to create a variety of new items, most important of which are the tool upgrades. I sold some of my harvested goods directly to Miguel so that I could reinvest in crops and flowers, before running back home to create some perfumes and dyes from my foraged and farm flowers. While prepping my fields for another round of crop planting, this happened. Oh, hey yo, a diamond? Yo! How much is a diamond worth? 10,000? What? Yo, streamer luck! So yeah, getting a diamond is a great way to end the day. Another big strong man is at my front door on day 7, Wilbur. This friendly carpenter provided me with a fishing pole and taught me how to use it, so that's pretty nice. I collected my first round of processed goods at the windmill, then queued up a whole bunch of fertilizer. I accepted local tutor Jules' request to make him some herbal recipes before chatting with Maple at the hotel, where I learned that she's the clumsy trope heroine. I got that diamond and all my dyes and perfumes thrown in the bazaar storage in anticipation of my first independent bazaar day, then did some fishing for the first time near the blue windmill. The fishing minigame in Grand Bazaar adds a bit of difficulty on catching these scaly boys, but I am easily able to catch enough to complete Wilbur's fishing tutorial quest. I began the evening by consuming some popcorn I got in the mail to get the recipe, and then discovered that the wonderful people at Marvelous completely nerfed the sushi money farming method from previous games, so there goes my quick money method idea. To finish the day off, I located another lost golden medal, and got Chickpea put back in the barn because I've totally forgot about her the last couple days. I spent the morning of day 8 collecting windmill produce and harvesting some normal and rare potato crops. Today is the first of many days of selling my goods at the bazaar, so I got my stock filled to the brim and opened my stall by myself for the first time ever. With only a single counter, I wasn't able to sell out the morning shift, but I did manage to bring in over 12,000 G. With that revenue, I was able to purchase the double jump technique from Felix, which makes traversing the map significantly quicker. And with that purchase made, the afternoon shift was upon me, and over in a flash. I once again wasn't able to sell out in time, but a new sales record of 18.5 thousand G isn't anything to scoff at. Unfortunately, I discovered that the other stall owners don't stay open a little bit longer for ya boy, so I guess I'll have to see what they have for sale next week. And to finish off this bazaar day, I unsuccessfully attempted to make this jump, but I guess the double jump tech just isn't enough at this point. I was teleported to the bazaar square the morning of day 9, where it was announced that our local bazaar has upgraded to a village bazaar, and everyone in town was super excited to hear that. In addition to having a leveled up bazaar, I was also introduced to some new townsfolk. Diana, who is a bachelorette in addition to her role as a bazaar reviewer, Harold, post office manager and Diana's brother, and a traveling vagabond and another marriage candidate, Arita. While I was here, I also accepted a couple of requests from traveling salesmen. Kat wants to build a rehoming stall, Rebecca needs some stuff to open her bazaar decor stall, and Karina requested some supplies so she can create a fashion stall. Big boy Arita also used his strength to open up the mountainside, but before I explored that new location, I had to throw on a new outfit, courtesy of some DLC I purchased. Over by the waterfall, I found the first of 3 chickens Kat lost, then ran over to Loy's house and assisted him in locating a receipt that he was looking for. I found a second chicken by Gabriel's house, harvested some ripe normal and rare turnips, then hit up the kitchen to make some herb salad and herb soup. I repopulated my fields with some rice and radishes, found the final chicken for Kat, then ran over to Miguel's to purchase some more baby blue seeds. I began the evening by completing a couple of requests. Jules got his food, and Kat was informed of my chicken catching heroics, before I ran over to a new location courtesy of Arita's Muscles, a gorgeous sprawling mountain range. This hilly ridgeside is littered with cool stuff, but I'm mostly focused on these copper nodes. I finished the day off in the red windmill by queuing up some stone and lumber and my first tool upgrade, the copper watering can. Felix barged his way into my house again on day 10 to let me know that the flower festival is coming up. Thanks, Felix. I purchased some more DLC and equipped this flattering bee-themed sweater, then beelined it to the windmill to grab my upgraded watering can. At the expense of some more stamina, I can now water 9 crops with a double jump. Since I was running out of storage space, I threw some stuff into my bazaar stall, ran by the hotel to complete Maple's flower request, then made my way to the mountains, where I found Arita training for some type of combat. Why anyone would require close-quarter combat skills in Zephyrtown, I have no clue, but he seems to be having a good time, so I'm not gonna yuck his yum. This mountain section has some new critters for me to collect, so I grabbed a hermit crab and a black swallowtail butterfly, before running back to the red windmill to make some dyes and a brooch for Karina's request. Back in the kitchen, I made some egg drop soup and boiled eggs, then spent an embarrassing long amount of time failing to make this jump. And to finish the day off, I got the 𝐵𝐴 upgrade cooking. I was reminded when I woke up that day 11 is the beginning of the Flower Festival, but more important than that is the fact that my 𝐵𝐴 finished crafting overnight. I made sure all my plants were moist, accepted a request from Derek, and then started the Flower Festival. This event is a 2-day-long flower gifting extravaganza, where the person who gives out the most flowers wins an amazing prize. So I spent the morning running around town giving people flowers, snooping through bookcases to discover some recipes, then gifting out more flowers as the sun began to set. I spent most of the evening collecting copper and iron over at the mountains so that I could queue up the all-important copper hatchet upgrade, along with the copper fishing rod, before finishing the day by giving my crops some delicious fertilizer. After checking my mail on the morning of day 12, I was delighted to see Felix ship me some copper fertilizer and vinegar. Then I was over to the red windmill to pick up my newly upgraded hatchet and fishing rod. Eligible bachelorette Freya handed me a request for some warm milk, and then I started on gifting flowers for day 2 of the Flower Festival. After giving out those gifts, I picked up 2 more requests, the first being from June and the second from Arta. It was then revealed at the Flower Festival closing ceremony that I won the competition with 48 flowers gifted and picked up my first piece of silverware. To celebrate, I purchased some warm milk from the cafe and consumed it immediately to learn the recipe. Over at the Bazaar Square, I provided Karina with all the dyes and accessories needed to complete her request, then spent the afternoon running around the yellow windmill collecting wood, stone, iron, and copper before finishing the day off by giving my crops a second watering. Once again, I am rudely awakened on day 13, but this time, there are these little gremlins at my door. These little bastards are the nature sprites, Ivy, Finley, Honey, Webby, and Penny. Their arrival also introduces a new mechanic, Happy Energy, a type of currency I can use in future bazaars. After the sprites dispersed, I threw on my ninja outfit and got to work harvesting some bloom flowers, buying some replacement seeds at Miguel's, then finishing off a request for Derek. Over by a bush at the yellow windmill, I found June's lost item, ran over to Gabriel's to pick up another request, then dropped off June's item and got a moonstone reward. I got some radish seeds planted with the help of the rain, then went over to the mountains where I caught a white-lipped tree frog, then spent some time fishing at the lake where I caught a bunch of new fish. Over by the waterfall, I caught the final fish I needed to complete Arta's request before doing some more critter collecting. Now that I have the copper hatchet, I can finally mine out these silver nodes, but the drop rate for silver from these things is diabolical. Back in town, I finished up Gabriel's request, which netted me a signboard, the first of many bazaar decor items that can give me some solid buffs when selling my goods. I finished this day in the kitchen, whipping up some sashimi. Day 14 begins in the barn, giving Chickpea some pets, then it's over to the crop field to harvest some normal and rare onions. After checking my mailbox, I got some fodder seeds and a new recipe, before running over to the mountains to do a mining run. Over at the Bazaar Square, I completed Rebecca's request before seeing a cutscene with the Bazaar Review Board, where I assured Diana that I would continue to do my best. After making my way to the town square, I got another cutscene, this time with June and Sophie, who chatted about being best friends forever. It would seem that today's just a cutscene day, as I grabbed another one with Maple at the hotel, where she had a brief chat with the twins on how to give a good gift. With all those cutscenes taking up most of my time, another mining run was necessary before ending the day at the red windmill to make some more perfume. Another bizarre day is upon us, and Chickpea laid her first ever golden egg to start day 15. This golden egg will be more useful once I get the yellow windmill up and running, but I've got crops to water and produce to collect to start my morning. Then it's over to the Bazaar Square, where Kat, Rebecca, and Karina are all able to open their new stalls. Even the nature sprites now have a stall where I can spend my happy energy. But more important than that is the fact that I got my third movement power-up, a free glider courtesy of Penny. Now I can finally access some new spots, but I'll have to wait for the wind to be stronger for some specific locations. Back at the bazaar, I picked up a request from Diana, then got a prompt for a new bazaar mechanic, Cheer Time. The long and short of this mechanic is that as you sell goods normally, you'll power up this little bar and you can ring a bell and then the harvest sprites come out and they help you sell your goods for more. I didn't use it for this morning's bazaar shift, but I was still able to make over 26,000 G. With that cash burning a hole in my pocket, I picked up the bag expansion from Wilbur, so I now have space for 24 items. Over at Rebecca's, I picked up the bug cage decor item and grabbed a bizarre Sprite box at the Sprite store. These green boxes are essentially another location to access your storage, which is incredibly useful for moving items to and from your bazaar stall. After checking that out, I decided to purchase some new animals. A cow named Puddin', a Suffolk sheep named Lambert, a silky chick named Onyx, and an alpaca named Cusco. The final large purchase of the day is the storage upgrade that Wilbur had on offer. I then sold out the straggler items for a modest 7,000 G at the afternoon shift, and to finish my bazaar day, I picked up some strawberry seeds from Miguel. With my brand new glider, I was finally able to make this jump to the ore spot and not get any silver, so I ended the day by watering my crops and saying hello to all of my new animal friends. Wilbur woke me up on day 16 to complete my storage upgrade that doubles what I'm able to hoard, a much needed improvement. Over at the Bazaar Square, Felix announced that we now have a level 3 town bazaar. With a new set of requirements to level up again, the crowd goes wild. My live chat forced me to change my clothes for today, and the cow suit was the only outfit they'd accept. So I blended in with my animals in the barn to give them some pets today. Over at Lloyd's house, I picked up another request from the merchant, so I went to the mountains and found a strange pink burst of energy, resulting in a neon flower icon. Before I investigate that though, I accepted a request from Arata, and utilized my glider and a gusty wind day to reach this ore island, which is pretty neat. But I still can't get any silver, so what's the point, right? Near Gabriel's house, I saw a cutscene of Ivy gliding to this little ridge. So I tried it myself and made the jump to find this is where all the nature sprites live. To reward my amazing movement abilities, I can now donate some specific items to each nature sprite. With enough donations, the nature sprites will level up, granting me happy energy and the sporadic boost in quality of those donated items. Just as a little side note for me later, the nature sprite ridge has some rare ore nodes that I can't crack open yet, so we'll have to revisit that later. Down at the hotel, I accepted a request from Garen, who wants to open a stall at the bazaar, and lucky for me, I already accomplished the requirement, so that's an easy completion. While I was here, I also collected another request from Joy, but I wasn't able to automatically complete this one. Speaking of requests, my pal Isaac also had a request for me to complete. But before I find his item, I went to the red windmill to queue up the copper watering can plus upgrade. Joy's request involved giving gifts, so I ran around town giving out some wildflowers I found before locating Isaac's lost item at the Bazaar Square. With the item returned and the request complete, Isaac was able to repair the blue windmill to its former glory. This windmill allows me to upgrade my tools all the way to gold plus level, as well as create some expensive accessories, produce, and it also serves as a pseudo seed maker. Back at the mountains, I actually got some silver out of these nodes, and I finally went back to investigate this neon flower thingy that turns out to be a warp circle that reveals the final bachelorette, Kagetsu. To put a cap on the day, I picked up my copper watering can plus and queued up the copper plus upgrades for the fishing rod and hoe before whipping up some grilled fish for Arda's request before bed. Having now appeased my live chat's cow suit request, I switched up my fit to start day 17 and started my morning by collecting some mail rewards. Over at the Red Windmill, both of my tool upgrades were ready for pickup before I spent this rainy morning collecting a bunch of ripe radishes and fragrant spring tea leaves. I made sure that I gave some love to all my animals in the barn, then ran over to Miguel's where I'm now able to order items, which is nice, but I'm really here to restock fodder for my animals since they're all out with the consecutive rainy days. Up at the mountains, I did an ore harvesting run and had enough resources to complete Loy's request. While I was doing that, I also gave out the 20 gifts needed to complete Joy's request at the hotel. Back at the Red Windmill, I queued up the copper sickle upgrade and got a whole bunch of flowers cooking into perfumes. That evening, I went back up into the mountains where my live chat finally informed me that these dirt mounds could be dug up with a hoe, so add that to my list of things to do every day. I made my first nature sprite donation to Webby this evening, and this mushroom, which is a bonus item for the week, got me extra XP and a solid couple of levels. I spent some time catching some new critters around town, donated those to Penny near the cafe, and finished the day off by grabbing my copper sickle at the windmill. Ivy had weeds as a bonus item this week, so I donated a bunch of those and got my first ever quality boost. So now all my forageables are 1-star quality instead of the half-star. I did the exact same thing with Webby, giving him a mushroom before attempting to get more silver from these nodes, but once again, no luck. I queued up the Copper Sickle Plus upgrade at the Red Windmill, got the 1-star quality level up by donating stuff to Penny, and made my first bit of her mayonnaise at the blue windmill. Down at the waterfall, I picked up a rare piece of silver and returned home to plant some flower seeds. I finished the day off by seeing this cute little cutscene with Isaac's family as they enjoyed a home-cooked family meal, and Isaac promised his twin daughters that he was going to get as ripped as 𝐷𝐸𝐻. Day 19 begins by changing up my outfit once again, then running into the barn to get some love points with the animals. I got a churro in the mail this morning, so I consumed the treat to learn the recipe, and started my day in earnest by picking up my Copper Sickle Plus. Since weeds are a bonus item this week, I'll be hyper-focused on getting as many as I can. If silver ore was even 1% as prevalent as weeds though, that would be really nice. Since I had no luck with mining today, I spent most of the afternoon fishing so that I could level up my fish quality by donating these guppies to Finley. With upgraded fish, I could complete this request from 𝐷𝐸𝐻, and I ended the day by donating the necessary resources for the 1.5-star upgrade for mushrooms and forageables, and queuing up an arsenal of perfumes. I woke up on day 20 to find our good friend Felix just let himself into my house to let me know that Honey Day is on the horizon. Also, it's apparently a local custom to give honey cake to the person you like, so he provided me with a recipe, but I probably won't use it this early. Matters of the heart will have to wait, as I got some fresh eggs to collect and flowers to snip before running down to the hotel, where I experienced another edition of Maple's journey in clumsiness. I purchased some replacement seeds from Miguel, then ran up to the mountains to do another fruitless silver ore run. Back on the farm, I got those newly purchased seeds sown, collected all my perfumes, and then got some dyes cooking before running down to the square to stock my stall with produce for the upcoming bazaar. Over by the town fountain, I got super lucky with 2 silver ore drops from consecutive nodes, which was just enough to upgrade my hatchet to silver. This is a super important upgrade considering gold nodes have a much higher probability of dropping silver that I can use for other tool upgrades. While my hatchet upgrade is cooking, I spent the evening farming weeds so that I could get the 2-star forageable upgrade from Ivy to end the day. I kick off day 21 in the barn collecting some love points for my animals, then it's out to the crop field to harvest some ripe strawberries. Overnight, my silver hatchet finished crafting, but before I get to gold farming, today is Honey Day. So I went down to the cafe and purchased some jars and started gifting it to all the town's marriage candidates. And now that all these boys and girls have that sticky liquid on their hands, I can finally utilize my new toy and create some gold from this neat island at the mountain lake. One of the negatives of upgrading the quality of your forageables and getting access to gold at the same time is that my storage is filled to the brim with identical items of differing qualities. So I spent the afternoon consolidating stuff by crafting and donating resources, which resulted in more quality upgrades. Since the bazaar is tomorrow, I finished the day by getting my stall stocked and giving my crops a second helping of moisture before ringing in all of my little furry friends for bed. Day 22 begins in the mailbox, collecting some gifts and getting one of those gifts planted in the pasture. With the bazaar underway, a bunch of new stalls are having their grand opening. Garen is a contractor, Lloyd sells ores and gems, 𝐷𝐸𝐻 can build beehives and mushroom logs, and Joy has a present wrapping stall. Before I got my stall open, I picked up some new threads from Karina, then began selling my produce. The morning shift wasn't too bad. I made almost 40,000 G in profits, but I could have made more if I remembered to update my stall decor to all the ninja items I got through DLC. With the money I just made, I purchased some seeds from Miguel, and utilized some of my happy energy to purchase an all-important power berry from the nature sprites. Consuming this item will give me some more stamina, which is very welcome this early in the game. With my remaining happy energy, I bought 2 more sprite boxes for the windmills, then went over to buy another animal. This time I got a chick, my live chat named Bean. For the eye-watering price of 30,000 G, I purchased the bigger bag expansion from Wilbur, and used what was left of my funds on the beekeeping field from 𝐷𝐸𝐻. In my afternoon shift, I sold off all the straggler items I couldn't sell this morning for around 7,000 G, then went and bought a brown cow that my live chat named Coco. To finish off my bazaar day, I met everyone's favorite mascot, Woofio, purchased the Zephyr Square Sprite box, and completed Diana's request. I had just enough time to finish the day off with a gem and ore run in the mountains, and finished the day by giving my newly planted seeds some water. Unfortunately for all my barn pals, I completely forgot to ring them in last night, so I spent the morning of day 23 getting them all out of the rain. That being said, Cusco, Puddin, and Lambert are fully grown, so I got my first bit of alpaca wool, milk, and Suffolk wool. With that 1-star quality produce, I got in the kitchen and cooked up some warm milk, and I went to the mountains to do an ore run and get some silver. After that, I ran down to Freya's house to finally complete her request and get the recipe for mint tea. As you could probably anticipate, my storage is bursting at the seams. So I threw some non-perishables into my bazaar stall before going down to the blue windmill to craft some emerald and topaz accessories. This is probably really unwise given my storage issues, but I ended the day by getting my forgeable quality rank upgraded to 2.5 stars thanks to giving Ivy some weeds. There was a knock on my door from Arta to start day 24. Everyone's favorite himbo finally finished the beekeeping field in the mountains. But before I take a look at that in person, I have to give my animals some love and consume the random food items people send me in the mail. I made sure that all of my ripe crops got ground pounded into my pocket, double jump slammed some iron and stone, and then ran into Felix and Lloyd having a meeting of the minds. Felix had to leave, so I enjoyed a nice tea break with everyone's favorite bespectacled merchant. I changed the fit up to try on my newly purchased overalls, then utilized the bonus stones and iron to upgrade my forgeables quality to 3 stars. That evening, I went over to 𝐿𝐵𝐺𝐻𝑢's to have a staring contest, and as you can tell by my reaction, I lost in a humiliating fashion. While I was in the mountains, I checked out my beekeeping field, which needs flowers to attract the bees and produce honeycomb, so I got a couple of extra wildflowers planted there, and then finished the day by throwing more items into my bazaar stall to serve as extra storage. I once again forgot to ring all my animals in the night before, so they're a little wet being herded into the barn to start day 25. A bunch of flowers have bloomed, so I got those side down, purchased some more fodder and chicken feed from Miguel, then did a quick ore and gem run before accepting a request to find 𝐿𝐵𝐺𝐻𝑢's lost item. Lucky for me, it's really sparkly and just at the base of the mountain, so it was easy to return and complete the request. Over at the mayor's house, I saw a cutscene where Felix has broken dishes while trying to clean them, and he and his daughter are having trouble balancing their work and home responsibilities. So I had the wonderful idea of Sophie helping Felix in his mayoral duties, so he can get better at not breaking things around the house. Over at the blue windmill, I collected some readied accessories, got them put in the bazaar stall, then returned to get even more emerald bracelets made to end the day. I woke up fully clothed, ready to start day 26, only to find Felix in my living room inviting me to tomorrow's tea party. Speaking of Felix, he mailed me some super rare silver, so I guess I'll have to accept his breaking and entering this time. I spent the morning getting some flowers side down at the crop fields, turning them into some dyes at the red windmill, then running down to Miguel's to purchase replacement seeds. With another bizarre day on the horizon, I got even more high-priced accessories queued up at the blue windmill, before ending a short day by splitting open this gold node to reveal my first ever ruby. I can't turn it into anything yet, but 5,000 G from just one gem, that's not too shabby. Cusco provided some alpaca wool plus to start day 27. If you're watching this and find yourself in a similar situation, make sure you keep this in your storage until you get the yellow windmill. Learn from my mistakes, people. Anyways, I spent the morning harvesting spring tea leaves and getting super lucky on my mining run, getting emeralds and back-to-back gold nodes, before enjoying the annual tea party at the town square. As a reward for providing the tea leaves, I got some walnut cookies and inhaled them to get the recipe. After the festivities came to an end, I collected my freshly made accessories and herb mayo from the blue windmill and refilled it with additional accessories before ending another day by ringing in all my animal friends and getting my crops nice and wet before bed. I learned on day 28 that I could just stand in the door frame and ring all the animals out. Don't ask me how I was getting them outside before this point, I will not tell you. Up in the mountains, I collected my first bit of honeycomb, then saw a cutscene with Gabriel, who is the artist of this not-so-subtle painting of the mayor that he just keeps in his office in case he forgets what he looks like. Over at Isaac's house, I found Jules doing his due diligence as a tutor, and was suckered into making a deal with the twins who get any request in return for doing well on their tests. Rookie mistake, Jules. Rookie mistake. Since tomorrow is Bazaar Day, I spent the afternoon making sure I'm stocked up and aptly prepared, and then finished the day off by doing yet another ore run and keeping my flowers nice and moist. It might have took me 29 days, but I finally put a flower in the vase. I then went and checked my mailbox where I got some rose seeds and chamomile tea, which was instantly added to my recipe list through consumption. With the morning bazaar shift quickly approaching, I sped around my daily farm chores of taking care of the animals and harvesting some rice and bloom flowers. I collected some last-minute product from the windmills, got my stock updated with the most expensive items I had, then started my morning bazaar shift. With the bazaar slowly becoming more and more popular in the local area, there were many patrons excited to spend all their allowance on my goods, and I was able to sell out relatively quickly. With a new sales record of 128,000 G achieved, I went over to the Nature Sprite stall to purchase and consume some recipes. Then it was over to 𝐷𝐸 stall to get the mushroom log. If you're like me and have trouble getting silver to drop from nodes, you should do what I do right here and just purchase it from Lloyd. It's relatively inexpensive and will get you to the silver tools quicker than hoping for silver drops. I also picked up another storage upgrade from Wilbur before starting the afternoon shift, where I finally utilized the cheer time mechanic that helped me sell out of all my goods and get me a tidy revenue of almost 50,000 G. With that cash infusion, I purchased another chicken that my live chat named Benny, some cooking tools, and a soil quality upgrade from my boy Garen. With what was left of this bizarre day, I did a mining session at the mountains, bringed all of my animals from the pasture, and queued up the silver watering can upgrade. Day 30 begins with Wilbur waking me up to let me know the storage upgrade that increased my capacity to 72 spaces is now complete. But the most important update is that the bazaar has now been upgraded to level 4, a city bazaar, and as expected, I received a standing ovation for making it happen. Now that we have a city bazaar, there are more people wanting to open up stalls, the first of which being Ronaldo, all the way from Flowerbud Village. I'll get to Ronaldo's request later because my silver watering can is ready for pickup. With all that progress I've made at the bazaar, it took me quite a long time to clear out my mailbox of all the fan mail. And then I accepted another request from Isaac. Once again, I bent the knee to my live chat and threw on the chick costume just in time to see a little cutscene with Arta, the seriousness of which isn't undermined by my choice of dress whatsoever. Another round of requests need to be collected from Sophie, local business magnate Charles, and Madeline, proprietor of the town cafe. And to put a bow on day 30, I made sure the 3 remaining crops I have are nice and wet. As spring comes to a close, I enjoyed some tea to start a leisurely morning on day 31, before being interrupted with the introduction of the 12th and final marriage candidate, Samir. Turns out Samir and Arta are pals, and the two met up at my house and decided to take a room at the hotel. So now that we've met all 12 bachelors and bachelorettes, it's time for you to decide who I get married to in this series. There will be a straw poll link in the description of this video for you to vote on who your favorite bachelor or bachelorette is. Whoever gets the most votes wins. But let's get back to Zephyr. My boy Garen has finished my soil upgrade, and Arta has propped up that mushroom log for me. Over at the Blue Windmill, I queued up the gold hatchet upgrade, then got my mushrooms quality up to 2 stars thanks to Webby. Speaking of Webby, I'm sure he'll be very excited to see me actually using the mushroom log. Over at the beekeeping field, I got the remaining available area populated with flowers, then ran back home to test out my new watering can, which can reach up to 15 crops with a double jump. I got my bug quality upgraded to 2 stars courtesy of Penny, and then spent the remainder of the day getting my windmill started on some easy produce for Isaac's request, before jumping into bed to end the spring season. But before I make my way into summer, please allow me to introduce the sponsor of this video, me. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I am once again sponsoring my own video. This video won't have a single mid-roll ad, and all I ask for you to do are 3 things. First, subscribe to the channel and enable notifications. Less than 8% of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so it would mean the world to me if you could hit that subscribe button. Second, if you could like this video, that would be amazing. I'm definitely going to make a 200 days video since I love this game so much, but if this video does get, let's say, 4,000 likes, I'll start making that video immediately. And finally, if you could leave a comment letting me know if you could only choose one condiment for life, what would you choose? For me, it's ketchup, and it's not even close. I put that on everything. Alright, ad over. Let's get back to a blistering hot summer in Zephyr Town. I woke up on the first day of summer, day 32, to Ramon just chilling in my house. He brought along a couple of stray cats that need a home, so I gladly adopted the white-furred cat, and my live chat named him Doe. He is very cute and very long, as you can see. The trends for this season are pretty decent, the highlight being the bouquets. A new season means new critters, so I started the day by catching a brown cicada, then went down to Miguel's to purchase some summer seeds. Over at the Blue Windmill, I got my golden hatchet picked up, and then spent the afternoon running around town, collecting some more cicadas. After clearing out the dead flowers from my beekeeping field, I grabbed some fresh honeycomb, and ran down to the water fountain, where I had a brief conversation with Jules, before Derek thanked me for hanging out with his brother. I started my evening by catching a stag beetle, ringing in all my furry friends for the night, and ended the day by getting all my newly sown summer crops nice and wet. I kicked off day 33 by doing my farm chores of loving my animals and getting my crops watered before hitting up the red windmill to queue up the silver sickle upgrade. With my golden hatchet and a windy day, I can finally get up to this ridge and crack open these light blue nodes. Then it was over to the blue windmill to get some honey cooking. While I was in the area, I formally introduced myself to Samir and had a brief chat about who did his highlights. I accepted a request to sell 30k in goods at the bazaar for Miguel before running into Jules and Derek having a brotherly dispute. To round out the day, I caught a firefly by the town square, collected my silver sickle and got the silver hoe queued up, and ended the day getting the 3.5-star quality upgrade for forageables from Ivy. Day 34 begins in the barn collecting a whole bunch of eggs before getting my crops watered in the field. My silver hoe has finally finished crafting, and my first crop of shiitake mushrooms are ready for collecting in the forest. I still don't know what ore these light blue nodes drop, but you won't see me complaining if they keep giving me diamonds. Today is the semi-annual pet show, and even though I've only had dough for a couple days, we did our best in the competition and managed to get on the podium. I began the evening in the kitchen whipping up some Nature Sprite recipes, then finally got the ore drop from these light blue nodes and collected my first piece of 𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐿 before calling it a day. A bunch of my large animals have some produce for me the morning of day 35. So I got all that milk and wool collected, side down some newly blossomed flowers, and got that wool processed into yarn before running into Isaac and completing his request. With that request complete, everyone's favorite windmill repairman got the yellow windmill back in action, making the first time in a while that all 3 of the town's windmills are spinning at the same time. The yellow windmill unlocks a bunch of great processed items: high quality cheese, butter and wool, ruby accessories, pickled veggies, and flavored tea tins, but more importantly, it unlocks the ability to craft 𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐿 tools. But it seems like these 𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐿 nodes prefer to drop diamonds instead of the actual ore. Since tomorrow is another bazaar day, I started the afternoon by dropping off some of my goods I plan to sell, then running up to the mountains to start collecting wood since I'm going to need well over 12,000 pieces to fully upgrade my tools. While I was up here, I collected some fresh honeycomb before heading down to the yellow windmill to get some green tea tins made. To put a cap on day 35, I gave my crops a second watering and collected a brand new elephant beetle near the town square. I checked the weather report to kick off day 36 and found out there will be a hurricane next Tuesday, so I put on a new outfit and got to work while I still could. Over at the bazaar square, I got some items thrown into the stock and reorganized my stall with new decor before getting the 1-star quality upgrade for honey. The morning shift at the bazaar went off without a hitch and I sold out, resulting in a 148,000 G profit. With bouquets trending, that made it all the more important that I bought the other flower seeds from Miguel's before consuming some grilled corn I purchased from Felix. Ramon was now selling pets, so I adopted a Bernese mountain dog that my live chat named Bear, and then went over to the Nature Sprite stall and purchased an upgraded Sprite box that can teleport me back to my house. The name of the game for today was to upgrade my farming capacity and quality by picking up the field expansion from Wilbur and the soil upgrade from Garen. With the money I have left over, I purchased a new outfit from Karina before selling off some extra goods and produce in the afternoon shift for a solid 65,000 G. With the extra cash I had, I purchased the Real Power technique from Felix, which is just a luck-based mechanic that can make fishing a touch easier. Back at home, I gave my crops a second watering, gave a proper introduction to my new friend Bear, and swapped into the outfit I just purchased before finishing the day by the waterfall, where I caught a couple of new fish. I kicked off day 37 in the pasture, collecting some Rare Milk Plus from Puddin' before harvesting my first crop of tomatoes in the field. I ran down to the yellow windmill to get some cheese and mayo plus processing, and with a hurricane on the horizon, it was imperative to get some windscreens crafted. After checking in with Ivy, weeds are back on the bonus items list, so I spent most of the afternoon running around town collecting as many as I could and donating them. This really short day was capped off by giving my crops another watering. The game made sure to remind me that a hurricane is just 24 hours away from landfall to start day 38. But on the bright side, Wilbur was at my door to show off his handiwork with my additional field being completed, and Garen confirmed that all the soil has been properly upgraded. I spent this morning doing hurricane disaster prep by utilizing some windscreens at the crop field and the beekeeping area. Luckily, the mushroom log just finished another crop, so I won't need to worry about windscreening that. And speaking of mushrooms, all the ones I collect from here on out will be 2.5-star quality thanks to this donation to Webby. That afternoon, I ran into June and Sophie, where the former noticed a rip in my brand new outfit, But lucky for me, she is an accomplished seamstress and fixed that tear right up and covered it with one of her famous patches. I grabbed some pet treats to begin training my cat and dog at Miguel's, then saw another cutscene at the town cafe where Gabriel revealed his favorite of the 7 deadly sins, gluttony. Back on the farm, I dug up a power berry for my new field while I was tilling spaces for new crops, so I will gladly take that stamina upgrade, thank you very much. I got my new field windscreened up, made sure to run by Miguel's and complete his request, then finished the day by getting another request complete by handing over a bunch of resources to Charles. The hurricane has touched down in Zephyrtown on day 39, so I spent the early morning inside training Bear. Since all my farm animals have to stay inside today, I made sure to feed them, collect their produce, and make sure they all knew everything would be alright before stepping out into the storm to grab my mail, which includes a delicious recipe that I just had to consume and learn. With the winds at an all-time high speed, cutting down all of these blossom flowers was a tad bit challenging, but it was necessary considering these trending bouquets are going to make me a very rich man. I did my due diligence in collecting all the weeds I could, purchased some replacement flower seeds at Miguel's, and then decided to utilize the ultra-high wind speeds by queuing up the silver fishing rod and silver watering can plus upgrades. After donating my weeds to Ivy, my forageables will now be 4-star quality, before I spent the evening in the mountains catching a super rare spotted frog, collecting some delicious honeycomb, and ending the day at the red windmill, picking up my silver fishing rod. It took me 40 days, but someone in my live chat finally told me I could sort my storage through various prompts with the select button, which really made my day. So with a refreshed optimism, I tackled my farm chores of sowing flower seeds before running out into town to see that the hurricane threw around a whole bunch of ore nodes and rocks in places I've never seen before. That afternoon, I collected my silver watering can plus at the blue windmill, then dug up this dirt mound which revealed my first ever pink diamond. This can be turned into an accessory with a yet-to-be-revealed windmill mechanic, but I'll probably just sell it for the quick 42,000 G. That evening, I caught myself a brand new Genji Firefly, used my new watering can for the first time, and ended the day in the blue windmill getting a bunch of accessories crafting, along with the gold watering can upgrade. I woke up to another knock on my door on day 41. It's Felix with an announcement of tomorrow's animal show, which I'm eager to win. With that in mind, I made sure to be extra diligent in taking care of my animals before running down to pick up my golden watering can. I did a quick trip to the mountains that afternoon to restock on gold, collect some more weeds, and then went back to the farm to harvest some blossomed hibiscus flowers. Side note, this golden watering can is amazing. With a single jump, I can water 18 crops, which drains barely any stamina. And speaking of stamina, if you guys want a super easy recipe that gets you some solid stamina regeneration, I highly recommend eggs over rice. I got my bug and critter quality up to 2.5 stars thanks to Penny, and then spent the evening fishing where my power reel technique made its first appearance. I caught a whole bunch of new fish and put a cap on the day by getting my fish quality up to 1.5 stars. I spent the morning of day 42 working on some tricks with dough, getting all the crops and flowers watered in the field, then making some royal honey at the blue windmill. Today is the semi-annual animal festival, and my live chat decided Chickpea should be our entrant. Obviously, me and my feathered best friend copped an easy dub, allowing for eggs to reach 6-star quality, in addition to picking up another trophy. With the festival taking up a couple hours of the day, I spent the remainder of this short day stocking up my stall for tomorrow's bazaar, spreading the delicious fodder seeds I received as a prize for winning the animal festival, upgrading my honey quality to 1.5 stars, and giving my crops a final watering before bedtime. I kicked off day 43 in the kitchen, whipping up some walnut cookies for Sophie's quest, only to find out that Ivy sent me a 5-star version of those very same cookies in the mail overnight. I then got a pop-up about produce freshness, so I went to check my storage where I learned some of my flowers are starting to go bad. But today's all about bazaar festivities, starting off with the opening of Charles' recycling stall. And then it is into the brink. I didn't sell out my morning shift, but I did make a solid 137,000 G. I spent most of my happy energy on the Sprite boxes for the yellow windmill and the mountains, bought some more flower seeds at Miguel's, and purchased another storage upgrade from Wilbur before checking out Charles' stall for the first time. Our favorite red-headed, well-dressed man has a recycling center that sells a myriad of items, the most intriguing of which being a power berry in exchange for a bunch of fishing trash. After perusing some stalls, I utilized the power of Nature Sprite Cheer Time to sell out of my afternoon goods for 131,000 G and went on a shopping spree. I bought the cooking pot from Garen and the Ultra Plus sow and harvesting techniques from Felix that allows me to plant and harvest 9 crops with a double jump. I then made the mistake of buying the good fishing decor. If I was smart, I would have made it just windmill decor, but at this point in playing, I honestly thought the Bazaar tents and counters were just aesthetic, and I really liked the purple color. Losing all that money aside, I picked up a request from Jules, completed a request for Sophie, and then found Jules' lost item by Gabriel's house and returned it to complete the request. To finish the day off, I used my ultimate sewing tech for the first time and got some more bouquets crafting in the red windmill. Yet another hurricane is on its way to Zephyrtown, but before I get day 44 started, Wilbur dropped by to upgrade my storage facility. Thanks to all my hard work, the bazaar has now been upgraded to level 5, a regional bazaar. And in addition to the new status, Harold also discovered a letter from Felix's mother that we can only open once we become a national bazaar. And as you can see, Felix seems very excited about that. As I got my day started, I accepted a request from Isaac for a couple of high-quality gems, then got some tomatoes harvested. My pal Lloyd needs some wool for a request. I got my honey quality leveled up to 2.5 stars, and collected some honeycomb before running into Clara at the town square to accept another request. Over at the Blue Windmill, I got the Silver Plus upgrades queued up for the hoe, sickle, and fishing rod, before accepting some more requests, one from Felipe, Miguel's brother, and the other from Rich. With the hurricane rapidly approaching, I made sure to get my windscreens up and then finished the day by completing Lloyd's request and giving my crops a nighttime spritzing. Ramon is once again at my house to start day 45, but instead of arriving with felines, he came through with a whole stable of horses. My live chat selected the white horse and named her Ivory. With access to horses come the prompts for training in horse derbies, but I'll get into that later. It's storming outside and my animals need comfort. I got my last round of ripe tomatoes harvested, then ran down to the Blue Windmill to pick up my Silver Plus hoe, sickle, and fishing pole. Since the hurricane winds are active, I decided to double down and upgrade my sickle and hoe to gold, and get the gold watering can plus cooking too. Across town at the Yellow Windmill, I got my first ruby accessories queued up, then hiked up to the mountains to get my honey quality up to 3 stars. As the torrential winds and rain continued to pummel the town, I spent some time inside training Bear, practicing for the upcoming horse derby with Ivory, and yelling into the void to see if anyone can hear me scream. I spent the evening catching what seems to be a very important glass bottle, collecting my golden sickle and hoe from the Blue Windmill, and doing more fishing as a means to kill time so that I could end the day by collecting my golden watering can plus. With the weather returning to a calm and sunny disposition on day 46, I was introduced to local weather girl Shireen before starting my day in earnest in the crop fields. With all those fresh flowers in my pocket, I got them crafted into a bunch of bouquets. My animals were finally able to get back outside and enjoy the sunshine, and the hurricane left some 𝐲𝐿 nodes for me splattered around the mountainside. I got my beekeeping field repopulated full of flowers and herbs, got a super lucky double ruby drop over by the Nature Sprite house, then ran into Felix, Diana, Derek, and Jules chatting in the town square, where it was revealed that Felix's mother is in charge of another bazaar in the region that's rocketing up the standings, but the gang and I are sure we'll get to national rank first. To put an end to the day, I got the golden fishing rod upgrade cooking, and spent the evening in the mountainside doing my best lumberjack impersonation. Day 47 begins in the barn getting some love points with all my fuzzy friends, then going out to my new field to get the crops watered. I got some stone and lumber queued up in the red windmill, before heading down to the equestrian park to compete in today's horse derby. I can honestly say that the horse derby is really fun in this game. While you're still moving left and right, keeping track of stamina and collecting power-ups, jumping over obstacles and playing against the time for points is really satisfying and enjoyable. And I'm not just saying that because I got a trophy out of it. Thanks to the friendship boost for winning that trophy, I got a request to complete from Felix before running over to the Blue Windmill to collect my golden fishing rod. I purchased some more hibiscus seeds from Miguel, farmed some wood near the waterfall, and began the evening by watering all the growing crops on the farm. I caught myself a rare Maya beetle near my storage and put a cap on the day by doing some more fishing, where I caught a cherry salmon for the first time. Day 48 begins in the farming trenches. I'm watering a bunch of crops and making sure I pet all my animals. Up at the mountains, I caught my first ever bee and donated a bunch of critters to Penny for the 3-star quality upgrade. But now it's request time. I accepted a request from Samir, walked over to Ronaldo to get his request completed, ran back to the hotel to accept a request from Maple, and found the cat that Samir was looking for, and finally told him about that and completed the request. With all those done, I stopped by Harold and Diana's to enjoy some tea and lovely conversation about Diana's failures at her past bazaar, then went back home to catch a rhinoceros beetle and get all my crops wet before bedtime. All the flowers I watered yesterday have blossomed and are ready for chopping on day 49. After I rang my bell and got a whole bunch of love points with my animals, I caught a rare thorny grasshopper in the mountains. After doing my ore run, I had enough 4-star gems to complete Isaac's request and was rewarded with my first Wonderstone. These mythical items can be inserted into any windmill and provide various boosts. This blue one Isaac gave me increases processing speed by 100%. That reward makes the flower seeds I got from Maple from completing her request look pretty sad. The next bazaar day has come around pretty quickly, so I began the evening in the square stocking my stall full of goodies before finishing the day by getting my blue Wonderstone set in the red windmill and admiring how fast I can do stuff now. It took 50 days, but I finally learned how to give Ivory horse treats before harvesting some more hibiscus flowers. With another bazaar day upon us, Ronaldo launches his farm produce stall along with Sophie, who opened a fruit tree stall. I once again made the mistake of buying the fish counters because they looked really nice and started my morning shift. It takes a lot of work and time to get all this produce sold, so I just fast forwarded through all the effort of hawking my goods to strangers to show just how much money I made today. 323,000 G. Over at the Sprite store, I purchased the Equestrian Park Sprite box, the Happy box for the red windmill, and a new recipe that I can acquire by chowing down. I bought some more flower seeds from Miguel's, corn seeds from Ronaldo, and adopted a black cat from Ramon's that my live chat named Gigi. And since I had 2 cats, I was also convinced to get a second dog named Butters. Over at Wilbur's stall, I contracted him to create a 3rd field for me. I picked up a refrigerant upgrade for my storage from Garen, then walked over to Felipe to complete his single-day sales request to end my bazaar day. The last actions of day 50 were to sow and water all the new seeds I purchased, and say hello to my new pets, Gigi and Butters. Another day in Zephyrtown means another day of Felix breaking into my house and informing me about a festival. On day 51, Felix is all jazzed up about the crop festival, but I'm all jazzed up about this storage upgrade Garen completed. Now my perishables will stay fresh for much longer. I received some sweet potato cakes in the mail today, so I consumed them and learned the recipe, and then went out to the pasture to check on all my birds. I got every single one of my growing crops and flowers nice and moist, collected 18 units of honeycomb from the mountains, and then picked up a request from Lori. Her pal Kevin also had a request for me to accept before I caught those brats at the water fountain raining down questions on Diana about how to be cool since she's obviously an expert in that area. Utilizing the blue Wonderstone in the blue windmill, I ended the day by getting the Golden Plus upgrades underway for the hoe, sickle, and fishing rod at the same time. With the windy day and the Wonderstone, they should all be done as soon as I wake up. And wake up I did on day 52 to the dulcet tones of Shireen informing me that yet another hurricane is due to touch down tomorrow. That extra field that Wilbur just finished up is definitely going to need some windscreens. So I checked my mail and collected all the recipes and gifts that Felix felt like sending me the day before and got a bunch of windscreens queued up. After that, I ran down to the blue windmill to pick up all my newly minted Golden Plus tools, then ran back to the farm and prepped my new field for seeds. Over at the town square, I entered a fresh pineapple into the summer crop show and came out with the first prize in the bronze category, so now all my pineapples can get up to level 6. I collected my reward of rice for completing Felix's gift-giving request, cut my first ever evening cicada, then did a ore run in the mountains before finishing the day by doing some fishing by the waterfall. Did you catch what I was supposed to do but didn't before bed? If you're screaming at your monitor to put up windscreens, I wish you were in my live chat, because I forgot to do that. I woke up on day 53 to see the hurricanes decimated my crop fields and destroyed everything I hold near and dear. So I spent the morning harvesting what survived and cutting down everything that died, before spending a pretty penny at Miguel's to salvage some sort of yield this late into summer. Back at the farm, my first ever bit of produce had gone rotten, but on the bright side, the hurricane brings out this rare frog that will really help out my XP levels with Penny. I once again had to reassure all my barn animals that the structure wouldn't collapse under the wind of the hurricane, before I saw a little cutscene with Samir and Arda as they chat about what is best for Samir's personal growth. With everyone inside, I guess they got to thinking because I have some requests to accept from Madeline, Claire, and Sophie. While enduring the hurricane wind and rain, I caught some new fish and ended the day by getting my fish quality up to level 2, courtesy of donations to Finley. It's been a while since I changed up my outfit, so I gave myself a makeover to start day 54, then made my way into the rain to eat some food I found in my mailbox. With the hurricane now passed through the area, today was a cleanup day. I repopulated my barren fields with new seeds, safely collected some new critters that moved into the area for shelter, and picked up all the fallen walnuts. My bees needed some more flowers after the storm, and I spent the afternoon fishing at the waterfall and bottling some walnuts at the Red Windmill. I got Madeline's expansion request completed at the cafe, queued up a whole bunch of ruby accessories at the Yellow Windmill, and was painfully reminded how much ultimate lumber I'll need to get the 𝐲𝐿𝐵𝐻 upgrades. So I spent the rest of the day chopping the down tree limbs in the mountain to start working towards that 𝐲𝐿𝐵𝐻 hatchet. I don't know whose birthday it is, but Felix sent me some balloons in the mail to kick off day 55. Whoever is having a birthday soon will most likely be receiving a bouquet from me, considering all the flowers I have now. That or walnut juice, because boy did I make a lot of it. I got the 3.5-star quality upgrade for critters from Penny, and completed another request from Madeline to cook stuff, and was rewarded with the mushroom rice recipe. You might be surprised to know that another week has passed and the bazaar starts back up again soon, so I ended the day by restocking my stall full of items. The surviving eggplants are ready for harvest on day 56, and I got enough wood cooking in the windmill to make a single piece of ultimate lumber. But that being said, my luck might be turning around since I got this diamond and 𝐲𝐿𝐵𝐻 in back-to-back nodes by the Nature Sprite house. Later that morning, I got Kevin's request for ladybugs completed and went straight to Lori and gave her a bouquet to complete another request. I did another round of wood farming up in the mountains and got those turned around into lumber at the Red Windmill before saying hello to all my farm animals in the form of ringing a bell right in their face. I then ended another short day at the beekeeping fields by replacing the destroyed flowers. Speaking of flowers, I threw some fresh mint in the vase to start day 57, another bazaar day. I got all my freshly blossomed hibiscus flowers harvested, dropped by the Yellow Windmill to pick up my ruby accessories, then made my way to the bazaar square where Felipe opened his rare artifact stall along with Madeline's mobile cafe stall. I quickly topped off my stock of goods, redecorated my stall to get as many boosts as possible, then started selling all my wares to the local passers-by. I did manage to sell out the morning shift for a decent return of 260,000 G, the first couple thousand of which went straight into purchasing some fun new clothing options that I'm sure I'll enjoy wearing when the time comes. Now that I have time to check out Felipe's stall, he sells a whole bunch of neat stuff including a wind jewel and a litany of wonderstones that have a lot of cool effects, of which I ultimately ended up purchasing the purple wonderstone. I sold off some leftover goods in the afternoon shift for a humble 60,000 G and used that money to hire Wilbur to expand my pasture and Arta to upgrade my beekeeping field. Madeline's mobile cafe sells a bunch of new recipes not available during normal operating hours, so I spent a pretty penny at her stall buying up over a dozen new food items before ending my bazaar shopping spree by hiring Garen to power up my storage refrigerant again and adopting a Maine Coon cat my live chat named Miso. With my bazaar day done and dusted, I had to check out what this purple wonderstone does. It essentially introduces new, even more rare items a windmill can create. Each windmill can create a unique season-specific sunstone. The Red Windmill can create sprinklers, mixed pickled veggies, and a combo perfume. The Blue Windmill can upgrade metals and make guardian bait. And finally, the Yellow Windmill can create something called the Travel Stone, specialty tea tins, diamond and pink diamond accessories, and most importantly, the final upgrade tier for all tools, Ultimate level. With all these new possibilities swirling inside my head, I made sure to water all my growing crops before ending the day by having the largest meal anyone has ever had in the history of the world by consuming all the food I purchased from Madeline's stall this afternoon. I woke up on day 58 to the completion of my storage refrigerant upgrade courtesy of my good pal Garen. I hit up my closet and switched my fit up a touch, then got into the field to harvest some pumpkins. Over in the pasture, I gave all my barn animals some love before talking to Ivy, who has weeds, back on the menu, so you know what I'm doing all week. Over at the cafe, I got coerced into being a taste tester for Freya, and it went as well as you think it might. While I was suffering through that, Jules, Arta, and Lloyd were just enjoying the weather outside the hotel and chatting about Arta's quirky preference of outdoor living. Speaking of Arta, I accepted a request from our favorite himbo this afternoon, so I went back to the cafe to purchase and learn the poached egg recipe before getting back into my part-time job as a landscaper by cutting down a bunch of weeds. Up at the mountain, I collected a final round of honeycomb before my beekeeping field gets expanded and ended the day by donating enough weeds to get the 4.5-star forgeable upgrade from Ivy. 𝐼𝐸𝐼𝐸 woke me up on day 59 to confirm the upgrade of my beekeeping operation, and then it was out to the fields to harvest some ripe eggplants and red peppers. I made sure to check up on all my animals in the barn before running over to the blue windmill to start processing a bunch of regular and royal honey. With an expanded beekeeping field, more flowers means more bees, which equals more honeycomb, so I'll definitely be getting those honey quality upgrades quicker. I've collected a fair amount of herbs from all this weed chopping, so I was finally able to complete Sophie's request and get the herb rice porridge recipe, and then it was back to the blue windmill to get some emerald accessories cooking. I ended the day by catching a brand new brown firefly by the waterfall. While enjoying some coffee and light reading, Wilbur interrupted my relaxing morning on day 60 with the news that my pasture has been expanded. I'm not sure what I can put here just yet, but it's a nice little plot of land to stretch my legs. A bunch of petunias and marigolds are ready for scything down to start the morning, and I immediately threw them into the red windmill to be processed into bouquets. That afternoon, I was able to fill out my newly renovated beekeeping field, and I spent the remainder of the super short day chopping wood and getting it turned into lumber. Day 61 is also pretty short. I spent some time in the kitchen making progress towards Clara's 100 recipes request by making a whole bunch of Happy Force mix with walnuts, did a super quick ore run in the mountains, I caught some new fish near Kagetsu's house, dug up a whole bunch of metals in this dirt mound behind the blue windmill, and upgraded my quality in forgeables thanks to the power of weeds. All forgeables I collect will now be 5 stars. I put a cap on the day by getting started in automation, by getting a handful of sprinklers queued up in the red windmill with the power of the purple wonderstone. The final day of summer, day 62, begins by harvesting one final crop of eggplants and red bell peppers before getting the field tilled for fall crops, where I found a convenient diamond underneath the soil. I gave all my pets and animals cuddles in the pasture, got some mayonnaise plus crafted at the yellow windmill, and regretted going for the pasture expansion instead of storage increases to start my afternoon. I got some honeycomb collected in the mountains and grabbed my first set of sprinklers, prompting some tips that they'll water my crop twice a day, which is pretty nice. I got those bad boys situated in my starter crop field and ran over to the bazaar square to get my stall stocked up since my storage is absolutely overflowing. And then I ended my first summer in Zephyrtown by doing some fishing and catching this oddly rare green bottle. With an autumn chill in the air, I started day 63 by throwing on some warmer attire and running out to my mailbox where Felix has sent this season's trends, which are disappointing even if I'm being generous. I began the morning by harvesting some rice that matured overnight and catching a new autumn bug flying around, a red dragonfly. After I got some carrot seeds sown at the sprinklers, I went over to the mountain to do an ore and gem run. I got my mushroom quality up to 3 stars, dropped off all the goods that I planned to sell at tomorrow's bazaar in my stall, and learned that Miguel's is closed on Fridays. With my plans to purchase and plant new autumn seeds up in smokes, I called it a day by giving my farm animals some love. I woke up early on day 64 to enjoy the animation of my sprinklers and water my field in preparation for sowing the seeds that I'm going to buy in today's bazaar. And in the blink of an eye, it's already time for the morning bazaar shift. With the help of the nature sprites, I was able to sell out all my goods for the price of 255,000 G. With that money, I hired Garen to build me another barn, purchased a whole bunch of flower seeds from Miguel, got Wilbur contracted to expand my storage again, bought up all the autumn recipes that Felix sells, and then finished my shopping spree at Ronaldo's. I sold off a handful of extra items at the afternoon shift and made just over 113,000 G, which was enough to reach the 1 million G in sales mark for the bazaar upgrade. To finish the day off, I got the yellow windmill started on making some ultimate lumber, then sowed and watered the flower and crop seeds I purchased this afternoon. Day 65 begins with the town mayor once again inside my house informing me of an upcoming cooking and baking contest. After Felix left, Wilbur arrived to complete the upgrade on my storage facility before meeting back up with Felix at the bazaar square, where the town has officially become a national bazaar. With that achievement, Felix can finally read his mother's letter, which essentially describes how she built the bazaar up, why she left, and how happy she is knowing that her former town is thriving under her son's leadership. But that being said, we still have one more rank to go, and the town seems pretty excited to reach it. Getting those ranks up is fun and all, but getting this ultimate lumber from Felix definitely makes it worth it. I got all of my non-sprinklered crops nice and wet, then ran up to the mountain to collect some honeycomb from a half-dead beekeeping field. At Madeline's Cafe, I purchased an omelet and consumed the egg dish to learn the recipe. grabbed a diamond from the 𝘎𝑘 nodes near the nature sprite house, caught a brand new yellow damsfly, and then followed the advice of someone in my live chat that said that there was an island over here, but it's just more water. My pal Ivy once again had weeds on bonus, so I donated some of those, stopped by my barns to say hello to all the animals, then spent the early evening between the red and blue windmills making regular and herb versions of cheese and butter to make a recipe for tomorrow's cooking competition. While I was waiting for all those products to cook, I did some fishing off the pier and caught a couple of new autumn fish, including my first ever bout with a guardian fish. With the power reel technique, the fight isn't too stressful, and I hooked up a black carp. The last thing I needed to do today was whip up my entree for tomorrow's festival, and I decided on the omelet rice recipe, increased up to 5 stars with milk and herb butter. While I'm waiting for today's festivities to start, I spent the morning of day 66 watering my crops and getting some vinegar queued up for processing before running over to the town square to submit my dish to be judged by Pierre. In the moment, I didn't know what the flash of light towards his eyes meant, but it was revealed that I won first prize and was rewarded with the supreme curry recipe. The cooking festival was the perfect location to complete Clara's 100 dish creation request. Then it was up to the mountains to collect some weeds and smash open some ore nodes for diamonds. Back at the farm, I caught a bell cricket for the first time and finished the day by whipping up some pudding for tomorrow's baking contest. Garen woke me up on day 67 as he was working on the farm overnight to complete the construction of my new barn. Soon enough, all these gold egg-laying chickens are going to have some new friends. Up at my third crop field, a whole mess of flowers are ready to be side down and immediately turned into bouquets in the red windmill. My mailbox has a couple of fresh food items courtesy of the townsfolk impressed by my omelet rice, and then I utilized the power of the purple wonderstone and the yellow windmill to create some diamond bracelets. After a trek up to the mountains, I started repopulating the beekeeping field with some autumn flowers, before running back down the hill to the town square to accept and very quickly complete a request from artist Gabriel. It would seem many townspeople have some errands for me to run as I accepted another couple requests from Sylvia, Nadine, Stuart, and Eric before leveling up my honey quality to 4 stars. After all that housekeeping, the baking competition was finally underway, but my pudding recipe doesn't seem to have the shine that my omelet rice did. Pierre gave me some pointers, announced that I did not get first place, and then told the world that Freya, that's right, famous terrible cook Freya, won first prize with her baked apple. Make it make sense. I drowned my sorrows at Miguel's by purchasing some spinach seeds, faked a smile as I completed Eric's request, then took out my frustrations on the weeds and gold nodes at the equestrian park. To complete the day, I finished repopulating the beekeeping field with flowers, got another diamond bracelet queued up, then sowed and watered all the new spinach seeds I bought from Miguel's. A nice and rainy day 68 begins by refilling the trough in the barn with chicken feed. Then it's over to the mountains to do a quick ore run. I ran down to the yellow windmill to get my first bit of Suffolk Yarn Plus process, then caught a super rare cricket. That being said, today was super short as not that much happened, so I ended the day by getting some good fodder planted in the pasture. The clouds have parted on day 69, so it was the perfect time to replace the flowers in the vase. I got a whole bunch of cauliflower harvested in the fields, made sure to collect the milk from my cows in the pasture, then went down to collect some requests. I got one from Derek and another from Mina at the cafe before checking out a cutscene with Samir and the town kiddos who were asking him a whole bunch of questions about his hometown and where he's from. After the interrogation, I got Stuart's request for materials complete and got myself a new outfit for my troubles. Then his wife Sophia felt it was the perfect time to ask me to do an errand for her as well. Back at the town square, I completed Mina's mayonnaise request and got the herb sandwich recipe before completing Nadine's bottled walnut request to grab the fish cake recipe. The most important thing I did today, though, was finally upgrading my hatchet to 𝐸𝑗. And since I couldn't do any ore runs, I was pretty much resigned to collecting weeds to donate. But I did get the 5.5 star upgrade before finishing the day by sowing some seeds and giving my crops another watering. When I woke up on day 70, I was informed by the game that something story-related was going to happen that would delay the bazaar for a week. As much as I love making money, this little break from the madness is welcome and I happily accepted. With no bazaar tomorrow, I have the luxury of a relaxing Friday. I can harvest these flowers, collect my sparkly bracelets, start pickling some eggplants, and collect weeds to my heart's content. I even made time to do some fishing today and caught a magnificently ordinary empty bottle. And to end the day, the fish I did catch were donated to upgrade their quality to 2.5 stars. Sophie woke me up on day 71 with the news that Felix is out for the count with a cold, so the bazaar is left without an organizer. So obviously that means I will be tasked with running the town's showcase event, but I do get a little bit of help from Lloyd, June, and Gabriel. All 5 of us were worked to the bone, but we can proudly say that the bazaar went off without a hitch in Felix's absence. After the bazaar ended, we all went back to Sophie's house to check on the mayor when Freya arrived with yet another note from Felix's mother. The content of this letter essentially congratulated Felix on the town's achievement, told us about how she defected to a rival bazaar, and how we'll have to look out for her shooting up the standings, which obviously made Felix feel a lot better. With what remains of this action-packed autumn day, I made sure to harvest my ripe crops and prep my field for more seeds. While tilling that space, ya boy found yet another power berry, which got instantly consumed to increase my stamina before finishing the day in the red windmill, getting some more bouquets ready for crafting. I'm back in the field watering crops to kick off day 72, then it's over to the kitchen where I whipped up some poached eggs for 𝐷𝐷𝐷. My 𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐵𝐿 hatchet is finally ready for pickup, so the first thing I did was make an ore run where I can finally open the dark blue nodes. But I guess I'll have to wait and see what gems and ores I can get out of them. While I was up at the mountains, I got my honey quality up to 4.5 stars, and then discovered that weeds were still one of Ivy's bonus items, so I will continue making them a collection priority. In town, Nadine set me up with quite the doozy of a request before I went and picked up my pickled eggplants at the Blue Windmill. I then went on a request completion spree by finishing Sonia's fishing request, 𝐷𝐷𝐷's thirst for poached eggs, and another Nadine request for those pickled veggies. I started my afternoon in the equestrian park, cracking open some gold nodes and getting weeds chopped, then ran into a cute cutscene between June and her father Eric as he grapples with the reality that his daughter might be getting married soon and completely embarrasses her in the comfort of his own home. I then put a cap on a long day of request completions by finishing one final request from Sylvia for 5 ladybugs. The rain is back in Zephyrtown on day 73, so I started off in the barn collecting some large animal produce before harvesting some ripe sweet potatoes in the second crop field. During my first ore run of the day, I discovered that these dark blue nodes drop the pink diamond as a gem, so I'll gladly accept that and immediately get it processed into a pink brooch. I know that you can't get inclement weather in the fall, but I decided to be proactive and place some windscreens up early because I know I'll forget it if I don't. These windscreens also have the added benefit of looking pretty cool as I get the field tilled. I got my first bit of ultimate stone crafting in the yellow windmill, and then did my second ore run of the day where I found that the dark blue bit jutting out of these nodes is mithril, a resource used to upgrade tools to the ultimate level. I then finished day 73 by getting my honey and bug quality upgraded to 4.5 and 4 stars respectively. I've got more fibrous white stuff ready for harvest the morning of day 74. After checking up on all my large animals in the barn, I went over to the mountains where I caught a rare cricket and cracked open some more mithril. Over at the town square, I bought up Miguel's entire stock of spinach seeds, then saw a cutscene with Clara and her son Kevin. After Clara insisted Kevin care for the bugs he loved so much, Kevin made sure to show his mother just how much he loves the bugs by hosting a bug party, which is a very malicious way to be compliant with his mom's request. That afternoon, I made sure to sow and water my 99 spinach seeds, craft another diamond bracelet, and finish the day off with some late night fishing. I've been rocking the same look for a minute, so I kicked off day 75 by picking out some new clothes and a fresh look to tackle the day with new optimism. I tugged on some udders in the barn for that delicious white liquid, smashed open some diamonds from orichalcum nodes, and did some fishing where I found a gold medal. I purchased another round of spinach seeds for Miguel, got another diamond bracelet cooking, and hung out at Kagetsu's place to fish up a couple of new scaly boys, in addition to the ever-elusive right boot. I've got nothing but left boots so far, so I'm pretty stoked to have a pair. I ended the day by getting those newly purchased seeds sown, then getting the 3.5 star mushroom upgrade from Webby. With the Autumn Animal Festival on the horizon, I felt it was only right to switch into my festival attire to start day 76. I made sure to check on all my feathered friends in the pasture, got my forageable quality up to 6 stars thanks to the power of weeds, and watered all of my budding spinach crops. For the first time in a fortnight, the bazaar will be held this weekend, so I stopped by my stall to fill up my stock and then did a wood chopping run. As the sun set, I caught another guardian fish in front of the Blue Windmill, donated that to Finley to get the 3-star quality fish upgrade, and ended the day in the Yellow Windmill, getting some ultimate stone and lumber crafting. The game was nice enough to remind me of today's animal show, so I started day 77 off in the barn to get one last bit of love points with all of my animals. Felix was nice enough to send me some 𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐵 in the mail, which I'm happy to accept, before doing my daily crop watering in the fields. I did a quick ore run before the festivities got underway and got the pink diamond 𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐵 double whammy god drop from this mithril node, and then arrived at the town square to compete in the animal show along with my trusty bovine bestie, Puddin'. And of course, we got first place to put a blue ribbon on the day. I had a bunch of ripe spinach ready for collection to start day 78, so I harvested and re-tilled the field before hopping over to the yellow windmill to get my second 𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐵 tool, the watering can. I accepted a request for wool from June, then went to the Bazaar Square where Clara has opened up a new stall. Once again, I made the mistake of buying and installing fish bazaar decor simply because of the aesthetic, and finished my morning shift by selling a new record sale of all my goods. But that being said, my afternoon stall will probably net me more. I made yet another mistake at Rebecca's, then accepted a request from another potential stall operator who I definitely should have talked to before the morning shift. Over at the Sprite stall, I picked up some new glider skins and another happy box before hitting up Ramon's stall and purchasing a lamb my live chat named Cotton and a buffalo calf named Buffy. Our good pal Harold needs me to find a pen he borrowed from his sister, and then I checked out Clara's stall, which sells a bunch of new recipes. I got my Bazaar stall decorated with my mistake counters, got another storage expansion courtesy of Wilbur, and finished my morning shopping spree at Karina's by buying some new threads. My afternoon shift was very successful as I sold out of all my stuff and made over $500,000 G. I spent that money at Garen's by picking up an oven, at Felipe's by purchasing the green and orange wonderstones, and at Arda's commissioning a second mushroom log. With the bazaar upgraded, I checked out Charles' stall, and he now has something called a feather jewel for 50 recyclables, so it looks like we're going to need even more trash. But that's a problem for another day. I need to get this green wonderstone in place that doubles the production line of the blue windmill. I did a quick ore run at the mountains and found the item that Harold lost, and then finished the day at the red windmill. With the purple wonderstone in place, I queued up enough sprinklers to automate at least one entire field. Day 79 starts with Wilbur confirming I can now fit 144 items in my storage room. Then it's out into the rain to harvest some more spinach. My mailbox was filled with awesome stuff this morning. 3 pieces of ultimate lumber from Wilbur, and a power berry from Felix that gets immediately inhaled to increase my stamina. I got my 𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐵 watering can picked up at the yellow windmill, grabbed the soy milk recipe from Madeline's Cafe, and got June's request for wool complete before running back to the farm to make sure all of my animals are taken care of. After doing a bit of wood farming by the waterfall, I bought out Miguel's stock of chicken food and fodder, then got some seeds planted at the field with the assistance of the rain. 4 new sprinklers have finished crafting at the red windmill, so I've got one field totally automated, and I finished the day off by doing some fishing at the waterfall looking for recyclables. Arto woke me up on day 80 to confirm that my second mushroom log has been prepared, but before I check that out, I need to throw on a new outfit I purchased from Karina. Utilizing my 𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐵 watering can, I can now water an entire crop field in 2 uses. I spent the morning reorganizing my farm animals into correct barns, then ran up to the mountains to throw some spores on my new mushroom log and collect some fresh honeycomb. I got all that processing into honey down at the blue windmill, then went back up to the mountains to hang out with 𝐾𝐲𝐻, where I once again failed to convince her to interact with the world outside. With what was left of the day, I spent some time training my furry friend Bear, then ended the day in the kitchen by making some tofu. There are many a golden egg ready for collection on day 81, and some rice have finally matured out in my sprinkler field. I found another dirt mound filled with metals by the blue windmill, purchased the honey juice and tomato juice recipes from Madeline at the cafe, and got a handful of those made over at my house so I could finally complete Derek's request for 5 juices. I took my remaining honey and donated it to Honey the Nature Sprite for the 5.5-star quality upgrade, and found myself a super rare Emperor Dragonfly. Down at the mayor's house, Lloyd, Sophie, and I found out that he had been duped into buying some expensive cookware marketing schemes. But more important than that is fulfilling Harold's request, where I was rewarded with a suit and tie that I just had to put on immediately. The last action of day 81 was to donate a bunch of fish, mushrooms, and honey to Nadine so that she could open up her stall next week. I woke up full of excitement on day 82, only to have Mayor Felix at the foot of my bed forewarning me about tomorrow's juice festival. The only juice I care about right now, though, is the juice I'll be able to make once these tomatoes are ripe. I spent the morning in the pasture doing some training with Butters the dog, then went up to the mountains where I caught myself a rare cricket. I bought 99 units of pet food from Miguel, got some ultimate lumber cooking at the Yellow Windmill, and then made some more honey juice in the kitchen for tomorrow's juice festival. I caught a brand new critter near my farm entrance and spent the remainder of the day at the equestrian park catching new fish and a bottle of starry sand. Some more spinach is ready for harvest to kick off day 83, and as I was retilling the field for another round of seeds, I found my 6th power berry of the playthrough, which I'll eat later since they also fill up your entire stamina gauge. Up at the mountains, my porcini and morel mushrooms are ready for plucking before running to 𝐿𝐵𝐺𝐻𝑢's shrine to accept another request. Down at the town square, the juice festival is in full flow, and I really enjoyed this nice break from the rat race. My gift for turning up and providing the honey juice was some 15,000G specialty juice that gives pet training a level 4 boost, so of course I consumed it and made sure to train every single one of my pets. As the moon begins to shine on Zephyr Town, I caught my 2nd guardian fish near the docks opposite the cafe, the grass carp, and ended day 83 by chowing down on that power berry I unearthed this morning. The first thing I did on day 84 was check on my mail to find some free orichalcum from Lloyd. And speaking of Lloyd, I got a little cutscene with him where he seemed very surprised to find someone asking him not to leave. I then got some rice cooked up in the kitchen, collected some honeycomb in the mountains, and completed 𝐿𝐵𝐺𝐻𝑢's request for that rice. I got some more mushroom spores grown on the logs, brushed all my animals in the barn, and then got a mega expensive request completed from Rich at the hotel. I dropped off a bunch of accessories, produce, and crops at my bazaar stall for tomorrow, and end the day by doing some fishing by the waterfall. An entire field of tomatoes are ready to be collected the morning of day 85. Before the bazaar gets going, I did a mountain run where I collected a rare grasshopper along with some orichalcum ore, before finally making my way to the square where Nadine's food stall and Rich's casino have finally opened. Today I am trying a new strategy for selling stuff at the bazaar. I spend my morning shifts selling a bunch of cheaper produce to charge up my cheer gauge, and utilize that in the afternoon to get bonuses on my expensive accessories. I didn't sell out in the morning shift, and I only made around 122,000 G, but I'm sure it'll all be fine. I really haven't utilized my extra barn, so now I decided to start breeding animals, starting with Puddin. I bought another sheep my live chat named Basil, and made my first ever visit to Rich's stall, which he calls a prize palooza, but it's really a thinly veiled casino where you exchange medals for a vague chance at getting something good. The best pull I got today was a red ball, so 2nd place prize, a green brooch. I grabbed a couple of recipes from Nadine and Madeline's stall before the afternoon shift started and I could implement my new strategy. It's safe to say that it worked out pretty well, and I sold out of all my goods for the not so low price of 727,000 G on the nose. With a bursting wallet, I purchased another storage upgrade from Wilbur, a bunch of cauliflower and flower seeds from Ronaldo and Miguel, and some sunglasses from Karina, before being a dum-dum and getting the tier 3 fishing stall from Rebecca. I grabbed the yellow wonderstone from Felipe, and finished up my spending spree with Garen by getting the bathtub power-up. With over 1 million in bazaar sales, I was able to complete Destiny's request, then went back home to finish the day. I got my first bit of buffalo milk, changed up my outfit with my new clothing purchases, and planted all the seeds I bought at the bazaar. With what's left of the day, I lamented that my pink diamond brooches weren't ready until now and did a fruitful ore run at the mountains. Day 86 begins with a whole bunch of upgrades, the first of which is from Garen to improve how much stamina I get from taking a bath, and the second from Wilbur nets me even more storage space. I started my morning by consuming some food I found in my mailbox, watering a whole bunch of growing tomatoes, and getting my lumberjack on in the mountains. That afternoon, I got some more pink diamond brooches cooking, caught a migratory locust at the equestrian park, and took my first ever soak in my renovated bathroom before ending a super short day by getting some non-perishables thrown into the bazaar stall. The autumn crop show headlines day 87, so I quickly got all my crops nice and moist, got some yarn crafting in the red windmill, and did my foraging chores in the mountains before running down to the town square to take part in today's competition. Obviously, my rice is a superior species, and I left the event with yet another trophy. With weeds once again on bonus, I spent the evening running around town collecting all those little bastards, and managed to get the 6.5-star upgrade to forageables from Ivy. I got some more diamond bracelets queued up in the yellow windmill, and ended the day by fishing up recyclables at the waterfall. Another crop of flowers have blossomed to start day 88, so I got those side down, then went back inside the house to switch up my outfit again. Over at the kitchen, I whipped up some more stamina regenerating eggs over rice before running up to the mountains to get the 4-star quality mushroom upgrade from 𝐿𝑁𝐵𝐵. While I was up here, I collected some honeycomb, then ran back down to the mountain to intercept Diana and pick up another request, which only required a carrot, so a very quick and easy completion to end a short day. I woke up on day 89 for another exciting day in Zephyrtown, as 𝐕𝐿𝑥 is here to let me know about the Pumpkin Festival tomorrow, which I'll just call Halloween since it's an event where children show up at my door looking for sweets. I made some pudding for the little ones in the kitchen, then got started doing farm chores by harvesting some ripe tomatoes and carrots. I dropped off a bunch of produce and accessories at my bazaar stall, then spent the afternoon fishing at the waterfall. I got the 4.5-star critter upgrade from Penny, caught myself a new jumbo dragonfly at the equestrian park, and ended the day by getting some green dye cooking in the red windmill. Shout out to the game for reminding me that day 90 is the Pumpkin Festival where children stop at my house for treats. But a negative shout out to me for not reading the tip closely enough. Honestly thought all the kids did was arrive at my farm, so I gave them the pudding I prepared while they were just standing here, only for my live chat to tell me that, hey, there's a cutscene for this event. So I had to whip up even more pudding to satisfy Kevin and these little gremlins, Sylvia and Lori. With the solace of knowing that I won't be tricked today, I caught an emperor dragonfly in the mountains and ended the day by getting my honey quality up to 6 stars. Utilizing the chestnut juice recipe I got at the last bazaar, I made a bunch of it the morning of day 91 since it's a trending item. I then got started on doing my daily gameplay loop of harvesting crops, cracking open ore nodes in the hope of something good, and going around town looking for stuff to dig up where I found this cool little sand rose. After donating my weed collection for the day, I was oh so close to reaching level 50, and took out some iron which ended up doing the trick. Thanks to maxing out the forgeable rank, Ivy met up with me at my home and thanked me for donating all those weeds. But I think having my forgeables at 7-star prismatic quality is thanks in and of itself. I ended the day by collecting my first ever 7-star forgeable and just enjoying the rainbow gradient on the quality meter. While I was checking my mail on day 92, I got my first memento, Ivy's Rosette, only a lot more to go. Another Saturday means another bizarre day, and Destiny is making their debut as a fortune teller. But before I entertain any new stalls, I have to fix mine by righting my wrongs. I finally realized that the tent and counters have certain effects, and bought 3 excellent windmill counters to make my bazaar decor start working for me instead of against me. The morning shift was over in a flash as I sold out of all my stuff for a grand total of just under 820,000 G. My first stop was Miguel's to purchase replacement seeds for the farm, then it was over to Destiny's stall where I had my fortune read and received a buff to the sale of all my goods, which I really should have gotten before my morning shift. But it's not all bad. I got super lucky and managed to pull out the prismatic orb at Rich's Casino, resulting in a grand prize, the Sky Jewel. With that jewel collected, I purchased the Wind Jewel from Felipe, leaving only Charles's Feather Jewel to complete the set, so I guess I'll have to get fishing. I doubled back to Felipe's to purchase the final Red Wonderstone, crafted this super cute red sweater with Karina's help, then went over to Ramon's. I got chickpeas eggs fertilized, purchased a brown baby alpaca my live chat lovingly named Al Pacino, and a Shiba Inu puppy named Kronk. At the Sprite store, I exchanged my happy energy for the final 2 happy boxes, ran over to Wilbur's stall to upgrade my storage again, and I finished my bazaar spending by commissioning the final beekeeping expansion from Arta. Over at the Red Windmill, I got another batch of sprinklers queued up with the Purple Wonderstone, and ended another exciting Saturday by fishing, hoping for recyclables. Day 93 and the final day of autumn begins with Wilbur completing my storage upgrade, then running down to the Bazaar Square where it's announced that we've officially reached the World Bazaar rank. It took us a while, 3.75 million G in sales and 21 stalls, but we did it. And to celebrate this monumentous achievement, the entire town is going to have a party next week, which I'm super amped for. Getting started with my farm chores, I made sure Puddin' the cow was properly fed as she grows new life, then ran to Miguel's to purchase some broccoli seeds. Up in the mountains, I got my mushroom logs adorned with shimeji spores, and then did a quick ore run where I found a diamond in this node, and then a pink diamond in the dirt mound. Fun fact, a max quality pink diamond is worth 90,000 G, and that's even before I get it turned into a brooch, and any bonuses from the bazaar stall decor. While I was up in the mountains, I got the 6.5-star honey upgrade, and got 2 rare emperor dragonflies caught back to back. With winter weather quickly approaching, I got a new outfit equipped, then went down to the red windmill to collect all of my sprinklers. With a total of 5 automatic watering miracles, I'm able to almost completely fill out this field with sprinklers before getting the 3.5-star fish upgrade from Finley. And with the end of fall approaching, I spent the final minutes of the season fishing down at the waterfall, just enjoying the perfect temperature and beautiful sights and sounds. A winter chill has descended upon Zephyrtown, but the winter season has not deterred 𝐷𝐸𝐷 as he completed the final extension to the beekeeping field to start day 94. As I step out into the winter wonderland and check my mail, the seasonal trends are in and they once again disappoint. I got some winter seeds sown and watered, got back-to-back 𝐷𝐸𝐿 ore during my ore run in the mountains, and collected my first winter critter near the nature sprite house, a bagworm moth. I purchased a bunch of primrose flower seeds from Miguel and got those sown back at the farmhouse, then went to my barn where I got a little bit of Suffolk Wool Plus that will be processed to Yarn Plus tomorrow, along with some Mayo Plus courtesy of stockpiled golden eggs. I ended this first day of winter up at the mountains getting some herbs placed down at my newly extended beekeeping field. After 10 days, Puddin has finally given birth on day 95. This cute little calf even has a heart on her, so my live chat felt the name Cardio B was perfect. A super cool thing I learned today was that snow works like rain in Grand Bazaar, which is something I've been asking for from farming games for years. Feeling vindicated, I spent the afternoon fishing at the mountain lake with 𝐷𝐸𝐷 and Samir, where I caught some new fish. I did an ore run in town where I got myself a diamond along with a ruby by the Nature Sprite House, and ended the day at 𝐿𝐵𝐺𝐻𝑢's shrine fishing up some recyclables. And speaking of 𝐿𝐵𝐺𝐻𝑢, I started day 96 hanging out with her as she finally agreed to leave the shrine and interact with the locals of Zephyrtown. She received many gifts from all of my friends and even complimented Gabriel's art. In exchange for the tour, I can now receive divinations from the Shrine Maiden that work very similar to food buffs. It might seem like a placebo, but I feel 𝐿𝐵𝐺𝐻𝑢's divination helped me out as I got a pink diamond from this mithril. Webby upgraded my mushroom quality to 4.5 stars, and I finally managed to fill out my beekeeping field before running back home to give all my animals some love. You wouldn't think it would take me so long, but I finally got the level 1 windmill tent crafting that afternoon, and learned this neat little jump to get access to these ores by the waterfall, and I spent the remainder of the day at this very waterfall in vain attempting to get recyclables. Unlike cows, chickens incubate a bit quicker, as Chickpea hatched a baby on day 97, only 5 days after I bought the breeding kit. My live chat decided to name her Momo, but we'll have to wait and see on her rarity until she's mature. The headline of today, though, is the pet show, so I made sure I trained Bear this morning since my live chat decided to enter him into the contest. I got some freshly blossomed primrose flowers cut down at the crop field, then did an ore run in the mountains, where I got a pink diamond from the mithril node, then immediately got a second pink diamond from this dirt mound, so now I'm thinking I need to buy a lottery ticket. Fast forwarding to today's main event, the pet contest at the town square, Bear showed off all his tricks to Woofio, and we collected first place and the golden trophy. After that success, I got a 𝐿𝐵𝐺𝐻𝑢 divination that will save me some stamina, collected my level 1 windmill tent, and got started on the windmill churn decor item. I ended the day in the mountains doing some fishing, where I caught my first ever salmon. Day 98 begins in the crop fields harvesting over a dozen ripe carrots, then running over to the red windmill to collect my windmill churn. The final decor item I needed for this tier was the jewelry stand, so I got that queued up before continuing my morning in the beehive, collecting a massive amount of regular and royal honeycomb. Back in town, I was approached by 2 tourists asking me what the correct order of operations is for the tastiest milk tea. Does milk go in before or after the tea? I personally think it should be after, but 𝐷𝐸𝐷 quickly intervened and assured the tourists that as long as it's Zephyrtown milk, they couldn't go wrong. Thanks for helping me, 𝐷𝐸𝐷. You're the best. After dealing with those individuals, I ran into Maple having another rough day, but assured her that mistakes are only the world's way of telling us that we can improve. So after cheering up our favorite maid, my jewelry stand is complete and I can finally optimize my bazaar stall for windmill goods with the proper tent series and decor items. To end the day, I put up a bunch of windscreens around my beekeeping field and mushroom logs because, wouldn't you know it, I'm actually prepared for the cutscene I got to start day 99, letting me know that a blizzard was on the horizon. But more important than that, it's party time this morning as the entire town gathers at the Bazaar Square to celebrate reaching World Bazaar level. But the celebration is paused as Harold delivered another letter from Felix's mother. This time around, it's a congratulations letter praising Felix's work in creating a world bazaar and putting a target on our back, hoping to catch up to us one day. All that being said, we still celebrate our massive achievement and aim for higher, but a bazaar day is still upon us, and I started it by getting my fortune told by Destiny before getting the morning bazaar shift going. I managed to sell out once again and made just under 300,000 G, which was first spent on some winter seeds for Miguel and our flower-budded friend Ronaldo. Ramon had the rare Little Wolf pet on sale this afternoon, so it was only right that I purchased it as my fourth and final dog. My live chat decided on the name Fenrir, and then it was over to Wilbur's to purchase the deluxe bed upgrade. I got all my new seeds planted as the sprinklers activated, ran back to town to purchase the breeding kit for Al Pacino, and bought some more outfits from Karina. I managed to get the golden orb in first prize at Rich's Casino today, and was lucky enough to collect my first piece of adamantite, a very expensive ore crucial to the ultimate tool upgrades, but also allowed me to take my first step towards 100% by marking off collecting all the forgeable ores and gems in the encyclopedia. And to finish off at day 99, I went back up to the mountains and got my mushroom logs spored up. It is finally day 100, and it begins with a couple of familiar faces. Wilbur is here to upgrade my bed, and then Felix made his way to the farm to announce a new mission for the bazaar. Our new goal is to generate funds to support developing bazaars, and this will be done through donations at the town square bulletin board. All that being said, we have to contend with a blizzard today, so I get my honeycomb collected, then utilize the crazy wind speeds by getting a handful of pink diamond brooches crafting. Everyone in my live chat told me that recycling items are more common with inclement weather, so I spent most of today fishing in various places, but I honestly didn't notice a difference and I only got new fish. That being said, day 100 is still a very auspicious day, as I got my orichalcum sickle upgrade cooking, and finally had enough honey to max out my quality of the sticky golden stuff. All honeycomb will now be 7-star quality, marking the second Nature Sprite donation goal met. As I arrived home for the evening, Honey showed up and thanked me for my role in reaching this milestone, and then I put a cap on day 100 by jumping into my brand new deluxe bed. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'd like to quickly give a shout out to everyone at Marvelous USA and the Story of Seasons team for providing me with a key for the game. I've played almost 70 hours of Grand Bazaar at the time of this recording, and I'm not joking when I say that this game might be in my top 5 of all time. I recorded this entire video live and will continue to stream the game, so check out my VODs channel in the description if you want some long-form content. And if you want to subscribe to the channel and enable notifications, that would also be pretty dope. Doing that and liking this video will make sure I get the next 100 days out much quicker. If you watched the entire video, you probably noticed that the live chat had a massive influence on animals I bought, animals I named, and taught me some pretty cool stuff. If you want to watch me play Grand Bazaar live and want to get in on that action, you should follow me on Twitch and Blue Sky. Those links are in the description. And the final thing in the description is a link to my personal Discord server. If you want to get more involved in the community and chat about the game, this is the perfect place to do so. And with that being said, thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.